Portrait photography has been like one of the most popular types of photography since like the beginning of, I don't know, they've been popular for like ever basically. Today I kind of want to talk to you guys about quick little editing tips that I use in my everyday portraits that I think are pretty useful for any portrait photographer that's out there, or anyone that's actually just editing faces in general. Now, I have a very quick theory about portrait photography. It's kind of hard to get into it just because we see faces every day, so it's like an average picture of someone's face, like it's kind of bland, like it doesn't really call our eyes or attention. So you're taking a photo, it's kind of really good to, you know, incorporate some type of new element, or it's just someone's super beautiful. You're like, oh, I don't see that every day. So it's more appealing to the eye. But the things I'm going to teach you is going to help you kind of with the edit side of that. That way you can be like, okay, the edit's there, it looks good, you should like this photo and like it and hire me. Now, I am not like the best portrait photographer or editor. I know there's like multiple people that are way better than I am, but these are just like simple things that I've learned along the way. I've been only really started doing portraits for like about a year and a half now. It's kind of recent to me, but you know, these are things that I noticed that really work well for me, and I thought like you guys might find some nice little details or information in that. I do not edit a photo if I don't use a radial filter around the face at all. Radial filters are super helpful for any type of photography. I use them a lot in all of my photography. Like 137% of my photos, I put a radial filter somewhere around the photo. It's just a great tool that's in Lightroom. You want your subject's face to be a little bit brighter than anything else going on. So the first thing that I do when I get a radial filter is that I go ahead and get the feather tool and just like feather the hell out of it, like at 100%. That way just the radial filter feels a little bit more natural. I usually try to put the filter a little bit past their face, especially if it's at 100% feather. That way it just like naturally falls into play. You know, it doesn't look unnatural if you just do it right up on their face. So it's like, oh, hey, this part is just really bright. Whenever I'm bringing up the brightness on someone's face, I usually change 3 things inside of that filter itself, which is exposure, highlights, and shadows. There is really no magic number. It's just anything that makes the face look good without like making it super bright. Like there's no really magic formula, but I just play around with those 3 settings 100% of the time. Now, the second thing I love using in Lightroom for portraits is what I call the eye brightener as a brush. If you notice, typically, like you can probably see with me right now, like past my eyebrows down to my eyes, it usually gets a little bit darker. That's just the way light works from any source that is coming by. So sometimes when you're halfway editing your photo, your eye under your eyes tends to get really dark, and it looks really bad, kind of like demon eyes, you know, it doesn't look good at all. So I use my eye brightening brush to kind of brush that area of the eyes and just bring a little bit of exposure back in there so it doesn't look like how I said demon eyes. Since I use this like 99% of the time on my portraits, I'm actually going to teach you how to just make a preset brush. That way you can just click on it and you're basically good to go for your photos. So first thing we're going to change is actually our exposure. We're going to change it to a 0.2. After that, we're going to go ahead and go to our highlights and we're going to change that to 30. And then also our shadows, we're going to put that at 14. This is usually my base that I like to start off when I'm fixing people's eyes. Sometimes it might be a little bit too bright, but we can always go ahead and nudge them down. So as far as the feather and flow go, the feather I'll usually leave it around 74, and also my actual flow I'll leave it around 80. So after that, we're going to go to the effect tab and hit save current settings as a new preset. I'm going to name it eye brightening 0.2 just because I already have an eye brightening brush, and then bam, you're done. Like now when you look under your effects, they're always going to be on this there. Next tip, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg, that is skin retouching. Usually what I like to do is go under the clone healing. That way I can take away any little small imperfections on the model's skin. For example, like little blemishes, pimples, just little minor imperfections. So in order to bring up the clone heal tool, we're going to hit Q for a shortcut. Now in order to change the size of the healing tool, you can either use one of the bracket tools to kind of like make it bigger or smaller, and that's easier than dragging your mouse over to the actual size slider. So it's just, you know, little keystrokes away with the other hand as you're editing. So I'll go into the model's face and start taking away just a little, like how I said, imperfections on the skin, little blemishes, you know, just to make our model's skin look way pretty. Now, in my opinion, this isn't the best way to go about skin retouching. It is something that I typically like to do to start my skin retouching. It's better if you do it through Photoshop. It's called sub-frequency separation. Now, that's a completely other different beast, and maybe I'll do a video on that sometime later down the line. But the clone tool, even if you're not really versed with Photoshop, is a great way to kind of get rid of the super obvious things that really make a huge difference on your model's face if you compare the two side to side. Now, for tip number 4 is the iris enhance brush. So I use this like almost in every photo also. It's really good just to bring out the little details inside your model's eye. The eyes are the windows of the soul. You make someone's eyes look really pretty, like it's like perfect essentially. So when I go ahead and do the iris enhance, I only stick to the outside of the pupil area. This honestly works really good if you're doing it on a model that has colored eyes like blue, green, or light brown or stuff like that. It really brings out the detail in her eyes and the color, you know, it just makes them look really pretty. But the brush is a little bit too bright in my opinion, so I usually like to zoom out, take a look at the model. Okay, you know what, like now they have like demon laser eyes. So I'll go back into the brush and kind of readjust the exposure. That's what I typically find is the issue. I really love adding this. It really brings character back into the eye and just makes the photo a little bit more eye pleasing. No pun intended. But it does make it just a little bit better. Now for the fifth tip, I kind of had a hard time coming up with what would be another tip that I would like to share with you guys. At the end of the day, guys, like just have fun when you're editing portraits. That's a really important tip that I really think you should consider and really do next time you edit a portrait. Like I said before, we see faces all the time. If something looks different from a face, you edit it a little bit differently, like it's more appealing to, you know, to you as a viewer. For example, Brandon Wolfell, he started doing his editing technique, which is really unique to him, and now, well, not everyone copies him, but you know, like he really went out there and did something that no one was doing at the time. And in order to find out your certain style, kind of like he did, all you really have to do is just experiment. That's just honestly like one of the best tips that I can really give you guys. Do not pay attention to any of these tips, but time, practice, and experimenting is going to get you further than any of these tips I just gave you. The other tips are just kind of like little accents to make your editing on portraits just a way better. So guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, please stay safe out there. Social distance the fuck out of yourself and other people. But no guys, seriously, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help out the video a lot. And also comment down below what are your favorite editing tips that you learned from today, or what are editing tips you personally use in your photography to kind of like, you know, spices it up or makes a huge difference. So yeah guys, thank you so much. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe. It really would mean the world to me as a small, very small. Okay, all right, let's not put her confidence down. It would mean a lot to me if you guys were to hit the subscribe button, guys. So yeah guys, have a beautiful rest of your day and enjoy quarantining. I've been playing a lot of Nintendo Switch and working on these YouTube videos. So yeah guys, I still don't know how to end my videos, but peace out guys, have a good one. All right, bye.